Right, folks, so we're doing another podcast here. We've got another album review, hence the reason we've got Gav back. Get all of his wisdom and knowledge into the review.
Death metal knowledge.
Makes myself look a lot bit better as well. So we got an album sent to us from Jen Nemo Smith, who is the director and founder of Electric Shores, who are a Glasgow-based PR company. She sent us an email across with an album for a new band, and I'll read out the email to you because it's got a lot of information, and then we can start listening to it and give our thoughts, opinions, reviews on the songs. Right, so the band Dewy Lester and the 603, quite like the name actually. So
yes.
A new musical project from long-time collaborators Kevin McGeehey and Craig McNally have shared their debut album Summer 72. Don't know what Brian Adams would say about that, but it's a different year, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's all good.
So it's a 12-year labour of love, which the duo describe as a sumptuous, sunshiny love letter from one west coast to another.
Aww.
Nice description. Right, so it's just out now. It's digitally, it's on vinyl as well. Starboard Records. It was recorded at Glasgow's prestigious Chem 19 Studios. I've heard that of them.
Heard of them. Yeah.
With producer Paul Savage, and it boasts a range of musical talent from the track list, including Snowgoose vocalist Anna Sheard, metronomic drummer Stuart Kidd from BMX Bandits. I've heard of them as well. It's also a really old movie from the 80s, which I also liked. Keyboard player Jim Lang, and one of Scotland's most beloved songwriters, former Teenage Fan Club member Gerard Love.
Right, okay, cool.
Okay. Today also marks the release of the second single. So this was sent to me 14th of March. So this is about a week ago. 2 weeks ago. Yep.
2 weeks ago.
So it's a love song to a nameless protagonist, and it plays on the idea that she could be anybody, exploring the beauty of hypnotic pool while warning of infatuous dangers, a bit like yourself and Emma when you first met.
Just me on a night out.
Its flowing nature disguises a complex structure, with McGeehey and Love's haunting double vocals adding unease before resolving into an uplifting blend of strings and guitar. So I've not heard any of the songs yet. I've purposely not listened to them, but I've got a funny feeling there's going to be a lot of things happening in this recording. Check this out. The album came together over more than a decade, right? During which Craig experienced 2 strokes. One at home and the other whilst in hospital. While he avoided significant physical impairments, he later was diagnosed with chronic fatigue and took early retirement due to ill health, but he's still making music, which is brilliant. Despite this, he and the band pressed on, seeing the record through to completion, so that's pretty remarkable in itself. And so the album, Summer of 72, it's 2 sides to it, 6 songs either side, 12 songs in total. And I think we just dive right in.
Let's go.
We'll listen to each song, give our thoughts afterwards, and we'll take it from there.
Sweet.
Album cover, I'll put it up on the screen. Pretty cool.
Cool.
Yep. Old school feeling to it.
Yeah.
It's photographs printed out for starters, you don't get that anymore.
No.
And the first song, the ballad of Dewy Lester. So let's go for it.
Cool.
3,
Cool.
There we go, folks. That was the first track, The Ballad of Dewy Lester. Whoa.
Well, that's the second track.
Sorry. The Ballad of Dewy Lester. As an album opener, what's your initial thoughts, Gav?
I think it sounds like it's going to set the rest of the album up.
We were talking whilst it was playing.
A lot going on in it, but nothing in there just for the sake of it. Like everything added something.
It's a lovely mix. Already remember the chorus. There's a catchy chorus.
Aye.
Very big vibes. We were kind of thinking this sounds like something that reminds us of something Robbie Williams' Millennium.
With the strings
With when he done the sample of the James Bond theme song or whatever it was. It's got vibes. We were wondering if it was going to fade out there, but it took a wee turn.
Yeah,
And
reverse guitar and
reverse guitar. I liked the electric guitar solo before it as well.
It'd be interesting to know, was that reversed completely or was it an effect?
But there was also
it was nice.
I don't know if it was an electric piano or there was something
high up just behind it that just but there was nothing in there that was like, oh, just chuck that in.
I would imagine
everything added something to it. It was nice.
I liked the mix of that because I could imagine that could be quite difficult to mix.
Yeah, with a lot going on.
But great album opener, catchy chorus. Be interesting to see what the rest of the album was like. So the next song, It's Alright. Will we just go for it?
Let's see if it's
3,
alright.
2, 1. Gav. That was song number 2, It's Alright. What's your initial thoughts on track 2?
Leads on nicely for the first track. Good second track. Bit more upbeat. Bit more.
I always like to say what songs remind me of. Mm-hmm. That one, it might surprise you, but there's a lot of old Velvet Underground songs. See, when it's not the real weird hippie trippy drug stuff, they've got some songs that I actually quite like that. That are really cool. I'm a guitarist, so automatically I'm drawn to the guitar. I love the fact that each line that was getting sung, the first note of the guitar hits the chord that it's on, but there's the picked part after it, almost like the reply after the vocals. Like the guitar tone for the guitar solo.
Solo was nice, and the solo continues into the kind of next verse, but it doesn't muddy it. It doesn't compete with the vocals, and the vocals don't compete with the solo. They're both doing their own thing that just gels. It doesn't make sense, but
a bit more upbeat than the first one,
yes,
which is good because you don't want it to be all the same. And the other thing I liked was I'm still trying to figure it out if it's double vocals or if it's an effect on the mix.
Aye.
Either way, I like the vocals. Obviously, I'm aware that this album was recorded or written over a decade. We're only 2 songs in, but so far it's very consistent.
Yep.
It doesn't feel odd.
No.
So it'll be interesting to see how the other songs fit in with it being created over such a long period of time. We'll go on to the next song. The next song is I Always Knew. So we'll check that one out. And 3, 2, 1. There we go, Gav. That was track 3. I Always Knew.
Cool.
I think that might be my we've only listened to 3 so far, but I think that's my favourite so far out of the 3. What I had said to you, I like that. It's a bit more upbeat. I feel like the bass and drums are driving that entire song.
Yep.
Different from the first 2. I love the fact with the drums, you've got the drummer is riding on the ride for the verse, and then he switches it up to the hi-hat. Tempo is the same for the chorus, but it's on the hi-hat. It changes it up, and then it's double time at the bridge.
Nice to be.
But you can hear a lot more the bass guitar.
Yeah, the
bass and drums are synced in, allowing everyone to sit on top of it.
They're not wandering off. So as a bass player, like you with the guitar at home and on the bass, and that's the first one I'm like, oh, what's he doing there? And you could hear lots of little flourishes and little. It wasn't just.
The only thing I would say about that, I actually wish that was a wee bit longer.
Yeah. I
was quite enjoying that.
That was a really good one. I think I agree with you on that so far.
Yeah.
That might be my favourite one, purely for the bass line. The bass line was banging on that one.
Yeah. Next
so
song.
Was everything else.
Next song, If.
F.
Plain and simple.
Nice.
3, 2, 1. Right, Gav, that was track 3. I wasn't expecting that.
No, I was waiting on the vocals coming in, but it was a nice wee instrumental.
So that was a wee instrumental. The drums were not driving that song.
No, it was piano. We couldn't really figure it out if it's piano.
Yeah, so there's something to try and figure out. You're thinking it's piano. I'm thinking it's a glockenspiel. It might be an effect. It might be both of them synced up perfectly in the mix.
There's one bit where like a glockenspiel is almost playing, and then it almost morphs into the piano. Then it comes back in underneath it. It's nice.
It sounded like a mandolin or something like that. As well. The choral singing, kind of just sort of sitting in the back. The drums did kind of come in towards the end. The ride cymbal,
wee bit of brushes on the snare,
brushes and out on the snare.
It's the sort of track you could listen to that 10 times in a row, and every time you'd hear something different. I like that.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that was how it was meant to be, or if that was an idea that they thought, let's leave it like that. You know, because that you could quite easily have put some type of vocals on that. you could have done anything you
Or that
wanted,
could have been a
but it
nice
also
intro to
sounded
another
quite,
track or something. But yeah,
it
no, that
sounded
was
good as it was as well. That was interesting. It was
I like that.
different from the first three, but it didn't sound out of place.
no, and it sounds like them. It's not like, oh, what's that? Something.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Next song then, Her Name Could Be Anybody. So this was the single that I was
Right,
telling
okay,
you
yep,
about.
yep.
So we'll have a listen. 3, 2, 1. There we go, Gav. That was Her Name Could Be Anybody. What's your initial thoughts? That's the single that's just came out for the album.
It's got a similar feel to the rest of the song so far, but
similar to the first one, I think.
So far, and at the same time, like we were talking during it, that it almost sounds like it was recorded live, or at least the drums, the guitars, the bass, maybe the keys.
I'm wondering if the rhythm section or part of it was recorded live, with overdubs maybe put in afterwards.
And that guitar tone, especially at the beginning, the opening
But
riffs.
bass is a lot louder in the mix this time.
Yeah.
I liked the way the drummer was doing the drum roll into the start of each line when it got to the verse. But there was that middle section, like it was almost like a breakdown where it was almost like the strings and everything went away, and I quite like that. But that's why I'm wondering if it was live or a combination of live and overdubs.
Almost feel like that one when it's performed live, that breakdown could just go on for a wee while. And
some nice vocal harmonies as well, all fitted well together. It reminded me of the first one, but it was its own track. It had things going on that were missing from the first one. So
a sweet little bass line in it again.
It did sound similar to the first one, but again, a standalone track. Great, good single in my opinion. We'll hear the rest and see what we think. But the next song that we've got is The Fine Major's Prayer. I don't know what to expect, so we'll give it a go. 3, 2, 1. There we go, Gav. So that was The Fine Major's Prayer. Initial thoughts?
I liked it. Again,
on that one?
lots going on. A wee bit different this time. Like instead of strings, it was the kind of the brass harmonies going on to kind of complement it. I like the dual lead vocals as well.
Got a
nice.
great western,
and that ending.
Great western feel to it.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a slightly different mix again. The vocals, both vocals, they were a lot more forward in the mix.
Yep.
Bass was further down in the mix. I like the tone of the guitar, but I like that.
I like that the outro bit though. You could hear the bass was being pushed up a wee bit because I could hear it galloping. You've got the muted trumpet and then the down like with the guitar doing that kind of western.
I mean, one thing.
No, I like the outro on that.
One thing I'm wondering though. It sounds live.
It could be.
I might be totally wrong, but it's got if I am wrong, it's got a lovely live feel to it. I'm wondering how it was recorded, but it's maybe been done in...
If you're wrong, it's got a great live feel to it. If you're right, that was fucking brilliant for a live recording. Yeah.
Cool, we'll keep going then. So the next song that we've got is Theme for the 603.
Instrumental?
2.5 minutes, we'll see. 3, 2, 1.
Here comes the 603, and he's always on time, and he's coming down the line. My friend the 603, he's always been a friend of mine, and he's always on time. He's always on time. God bless the 603. He's always been there by my side. He keeps rolling along on the tide. When I need to confide in a friend, he's there. Here comes the 603. He comes over land, air and sea. God bless the 603. Nothing can keep him from me. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Here comes the 603. 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 Here comes the 603.
Right, Gav, that was the song Theme for the 603.
Well, my prediction of it being just an instrumental was kiboshed from
Yeah.
the first beat.
So that was an interesting one. The guitar that was a different guitar tone than what we've heard so far, a bit more distortion in it. I like the bridge and outro section for me were the better one. See when it got to that double time,
Yeah.
the guitarist is also playing this is what I like about certain guitarists. He's playing makes the song sound better.
Yeah.
He's not playing for the spotlight. Look at me, how fancy I can be. What he's playing makes the song sound better. I think that I heard some trumpets or something at the end. I might be wrong, but the strings came in because initially I'd said to you, "Oh, there's no strings of that."
And I was saying, well, it's a
come
bit
in.
instrument light, but as the song went on, there was bits added in, and again, they all added their own little unique.
Yeah,
little
vocals
touch
were
and
higher
flavour
in the
to it.
mix, bass was lower in the mix again, but it picked up towards the end.
Yeah,
Cool.
right.
We will go on to the next one, which is Maybe It's Down to Me. So it's
Maybe It's Down to Me.
3 minutes 20. We'll see what it is. So
Let's go.
3, 2, 1.
I was walking down the street with my girl, we were hand in hand. We go together like Adam and Eve. I was walking down the street with my girl, we were hand in hand. We go together like Adam and Eve. She said to me, baby, it's down to me. I replied, I don't know what you're saying. And I cried. We had all the time, it was hers and mine. We were doing just fine. We moved forever like the moon and the tide. We had all the time, it was hers and mine. We were doing just fine. We moved forever like the moon and the tide. She said to me, baby, it's down to me. I replied, I don't know what you're saying. And I cried. Where do you look when the sky falls down? Can you still see the stars when you're facing the ground? But hey, maybe it's down to me. She had all the cards, she had everything, she read all the signs. We played each other like rhythm and rhyme. She had all the cards, she had everything, she read all the signs. We played each other like rhythm and rhyme. She said to me, baby, it's down to me. I replied, I don't know what you're saying, girl. And I cried. Yes, I cried. Maybe it's down to me. 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 Maybe it's down to
Oh no, wait, that switched off. Was it hurdy-gurdy?
So, we've been questioning the whole song. What is that instrument playing in the background? It just so happened that it was the last instrument you heard before the song completely finished. So initially we thought it was an accordion, and then a hurdy-gurdy,
Hurdy-gurdy,
and then we thought maybe a muffy, and
There
then
might have been a muffy there in at one
and then we
point.
thought maybe it's a Hammond organ.
But that last bit, I think it's a hurdy-gurdy. Please let us know. I need to know.
What you think?
I think it's a hurdy-gurdy. That last instrument.
I think it's the accordion.
No, because it clicked. Oh, right, you have to settle the debate now. We need to know.
But I'd say to you that that's got a 90s feel to it. That's very ocean colour scene.
Yeah.
You
Agree with
know,
that.
summer of 1995, everyone's chilled out, relaxing in the park. You can imagine that just playing on the radio. I like the guitar tone, a bit more rocking. I like the beat, it was a bit more upbeat as well. I think I spent half the song trying to figure out what it was. in
What the
background.
instrument was, and in between that, it was the bass line. The bass line was doing like a walking bass line, but almost off the beat, which complemented it better. Like you could hear the bass as its own instrument in it. It wasn't just there to make it sound good. It was I liked it. I liked that one. But I still think it's a hurdy-gurdy. You're wrong. Hurdy-gurdy.
I think accordion.
Hurdy-gurdy.
Right, okay.
I just want to say hurdy-gurdy again.
So next song we've got is Take the Weight.
Cool.
Right, so let's go for it. 3, 2, 1.
Take the weight off of your feet. Find a relaxing place and take a seat. It really is more comfortable to put your feet up, sit back, collect your thoughts. It's nice to see you now you're here. I'll hang your coat up while you pour a beer. I know you're really busy and you've changed your plans to spend an hour or so with me. Just kick your shoes off, settle down and take a seat. Rest your weary eyes and take the weight off your feet. But do you really have to go? I'll pull another one just for the road. I know you'll come again, but next time when you do, please don't plan to leave too soon. You'll put your shoes on, I'll get your coat and fix your tie. That's not a tear, you see. I've got something in my eye. Take the weight off of your feet. 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 Take the weight off of your feet.
There we go, Gav. That was Take the Weight. Initial thoughts on that one?
I liked what that one, the vocal melody on that was lovely. Like the harmony, the kind of the male and the female voice, just there wasn't one overpowering the other. They just complemented each other really well.
Yeah, I was saying to you as well that I think that's the first song that properly showcased both vocals, because both vocalists sang start to finish. It wasn't that one of them was backing up the other person. Their voices work really well together, but they can get away with both singing start to finish because their voices are also very different. I like the military march type drums that was going on. It was definitely drums and vocals were leading that song, with all the other instruments kind of.
The nice wee guitar embellishments going here
I
and
don't think there was didn't hear any strings of that, so it was a wee bit more sort of laid back, that one.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Super catchy. Take the weight up of your feet.
Okay, don't mind if I do.
So yeah, I like that one. And we'll keep going. Cool. Next one is Rush Job.
Sweet. Inspired by Rush the band, or?
Wait and see.
We'll have to find out. A wee Geddy Lee bass line coming up.
There we go, Gav. So that was Rush Job, another instrumental.
Liked it.
Liked it better than the. I liked the first instrumental, but I quite liked that set. That one was
a wee bit longer.
There was a lot
a wee bit more going on.
We're obviously you're a bass player. I'm a guitarist, so you start zoning in and things. I mean, bass and drums first of all are driving the song. Mm-hmm. You've got the guitar playing, but the bass was interesting because it started off as a distorted bass,
almost like not an overdrive, but like a really gritty driver.
Yeah, you said it changed.
I think it changed to synth in the middle,
and then back to like a normal kind of bass sound. Your guitar had you thought it was a sitar, but I think it's maybe a guitar effect
to make it sound
like that. I love those bottles.
Yeah,
the bottle noise that the drums were. I don't know if that was the drummer or if that was somebody else. Mm-hmm. I thought it was maybe a bongo in there somewhere as well.
Bongos. Lots of ambient wee bits here and there. Again, that's a track you could listen to 10 times, and every time you listen to it, you'll hear something different.
Yeah, well, I'd say to you, I wonder if that's live. I don't think it's just they've hit record and just went for it, but it sounds like it could be live
together.
But that could be quite interesting, them playing that live in front of an audience, because you could go anywhere with that, and you could also have guest musicians on.
If you're ever playing in Stirling, Falkirk, you know, a bass player and another guitarist.
Don't want to ruin your song though.
Oh no, actually no.
Gav, it's the last two songs. The second last one, sorry, I've not got my glasses. June and Lorelei.
June and Lorelei.
You sure?
Positive.
Right.
Lorelei.
3, 2, 1.
Goodbye Judy Jones and goodbye Lorelei. I'm leaving in the morning on the bus. I will soon be back, a kid bag to unpack. Sweet Lorelei, there's yet hope for us. Taking my position to fight for what is missing, for truth and justice, honour and for love. Each evening I will pray, I'll send my thoughts your way. My strength will come to me from up above. I'll be back with you to spend at Christmas time.
So we're just trying to figure out what was that noise in the background. It's got to be a double bass.
Or a cello. Cello?
Double bass or cello.
Aye.
One of those. Definitely not a Muthi, which was what you suggested.
I was guessing.
I like that. I said to you, I don't know if you've heard of him, but there's an old folk musician from the 70s called Nick Drake. He only released 3 albums, but they're masterpieces. They're absolutely brilliant. And his first 2 albums had various instruments on them. The third one was just acoustic, but that one reminded me of something off of the first 2 albums. A similar feel to it. Kind of a wee bit of Beatles in there as well.
Yeah,
So I thought that was a cross between the Beatles and Nick Drake. That's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah.
I like that. I was wondering when it first started, is it going to be male or female singing?
I think we were both wrong, weren't we?
Yeah, but I like that. Again, different from what they've done really well on this album is, and it's something people don't think about nowadays, but they have been careful with the order of the track list.
Track placement, yep.
So that it's changing it up. You're not getting bored. It's not the same type of song one after the other.
Yeah, I totally get that.
So I like that.
Yeah,
what we'll do is we'll comment on the whole album. We'll listen to the last track, and then we can give our final thoughts on it. So the last track, I think it might be one of the longest tracks on the album. Staring at the Window. So 3, 2, 1.
I
There we go, Gav. So that was Staring at the Window. It was also you always have to have a good album opener, a good one to close the album. They've got it with this album.
Yeah.
But for the 10 tracks in between those two songs,
Perfectly placed.
They've not just put them out. They've placed them in a good order. There's two instrumentals which I wasn't expecting. I like the second one better than the first one.
Yep, agree with you on that.
But I like that. I think maybe that last one was one of my favourites.
Yeah, I like
on the album. It had a weird tempo change.
It gets you into that comfort zone of, oh, this is where it's going to go, and in your head you're like predicting the next bit, and then you're like, whoa, and I did it a couple of times and it was really good.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but it was a good change. I didn't see it coming, but the solo section was different from the previous two parts, and again it's that Western vibe.
The bells and stuff, and there was like a sound effect in the background at the end there. We were like, is it rain? Is it something? But
yeah, and
it needs a music video so we can see what's going on. But no.
Yeah, I think that was one of my favourites. So, thinking back on it, I jotted down what I thought my favourite songs were. So I put down, let me think here, 1, 2, 3. So I'd put The Fine Major's Prayer was one of my favourites.
That was the one that kind of had the Western feel, wasn't it? Yep.
Take the Weight was another one. And I actually think for myself, the last song, Staring at the Widow, was my 3 favourites. I think maybe the last one was actually my favourite of all of them. They saved the best till last. What about yourself?
So Rush Job, that second instrumental, I loved that. And is it If I liked as well?
Yeah,
it was, wasn't it? Yeah. And the second track,
It's Alright.
Yeah, I like that as well. Yep.
Cool. So, thinking back on the album, good opener.
Brilliant opener.
Good closer.
Brilliant closer.
Well planned track order.
Well planned and written. Nothing was out of place on that album.
Sound wise, sonically, I thought it was a good sounding album. I'm curious to ask the guys if it was recorded live. I think part of it was live and part of it was overdubs.
Yep.
Singing, I thought the guys singing was really good. The male-female voice complemented each other.
Yep.
But were also very different, but it worked.
Yep, it wasn't overused. So
I didn't feel like anything was repeated, so I felt like it was, each song had its own little place in the album.
Yep.
And there was a few songs there that I think if you were to see them do it live, they could go off,
off in different tangents,
in a different direction. Yep. And you can imagine that being a good starting point for a live performance, because it's loose enough that it's not this solid structure of verse chorus, solo, last chorus, and there's quite a few songs there where you could go off in different directions. Another thing was that every song was not the same tempo, which sometimes drives me up the wall. I could hear various influences. I'm just thinking of, obviously I've mentioned Nick Drake, the Beatles, Ocean Colour Scene. I'd said that last one, there's also a bit of Noel Gallagher in there, and it's got
a good task the guys, who are the influences.
It's got a good 90s feel,
but it's not like a carbon copy of anyone else. There's just little hints of.
I see a 90s feel in there, but I also see things from the sort of late 60s and the early 70s.
That still leans into modern as well.
But it doesn't sound old.
No, it sounds fresh, yeah. It sounds new, modern.
So, we usually give it a rating of horns. 5 horns being the best, 0 horns being pretty poor. Where would you place that album? I know it's not normally the style that you would listen to, but thinking of the album as a whole,
on the whole, so I'm going to give it 4.5 horns. 4.5, because I think I could listen to that album another 3 times in a row, and I'm going to hear it in a different way each time. It's just,
I'm going to give it 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to give it 4 horns, 4 out of 5.
So that's 8.
And I would be interested in hearing what else the guys have got. If if they've got a second album, hopefully it won't take them a decade to write it.
I'll be old.
But I would also like to see the guys live, because I think they could do a lot with that live.
Oh yeah.
It'd be interesting. I don't know if they're in the situation where they'll take it out and perform it. But I think
if they did it,
they could do that.
It would be a good thing to see live. That would be.
But Jen, big thanks to Jen for sending me on the album, introducing me to the band, because I hadn't heard of them before, and I don't know if I'd said to you, hopefully we'll get the guys on.
Yeah, you mentioned
to talk. We can talk about all things music, their influences, and obviously
and
we'll
was
talk
that a
about the album.
hurdy-gurdy? That is the most important question. That's question number one. Was it a hurdy-gurdy?
It was an accordion.
Hurdy-gurdy.
And yeah, it'd be interesting to know how it was recorded. Was it live? Was it overdubbed? I think it was. It must have been both.
Sat on a tape or a hard drive somewhere for 5 years and then brought back. Is there other stuff lying about that can make a second album? That'd be good to know as well. Yeah, because I'd like a second album. That would.
Folks, it's available, so you can obviously go into all your normal platforms. If you want to stream it, if you want to download it. I think they'd say there's vinyls as well, so give the guys a follow on social media. They'll have all the information with regard to releases, and if they're going to be doing gigs, that's the place to find out. But we'll get part 2 out, and we can talk to the guys, and they can answer all our silly questions
about the hurdy-gurdy.
Yes,
it's a hurdy-gurdy.
But until then, guys, thank you very much, and we'll see you for part 2 coming up.